It was October 2023. Something worrying happened far under the sea. The gas pipeline connecting Finland and Estonia showed a big drop in pressure. Engineers in both countries were confused and concerned. They checked their instruments, which seemed to work correctly. This pipeline is vital for energy in both nations. They quickly worked to find the reason for this strange event, at first thinking it was just a bad accident. However, as more information came, the truth became clear. This event was not an accident at all. It was sabotage. Reports later said that a large ship had pulled its anchor along the seafloor for a very long way. This heavy anchor tore a hole in the important gas pipeline. It also damaged undersea communication cables. This moment showed both Estonia and Finland that they were now in a new type of war. Long ago, fighting wars was simpler. Groups of people fought directly against each other, often with basic weapons. You could see who your enemy was. Battle plans were not very complex. Often, the side with more fighters and weapons had the better chance to win. But in the 21st century, conflicts are much more complex. Warfare has changed greatly. Now, war can happen anywhere in the world. It can start at any moment. And it uses many new methods and tools. War is no longer only about soldiers fighting soldiers. It needs different strategies. One of these important new strategies is energy warfare. This is a way of fighting that uses a country's need for energy against it. Think about an army. Its vehicles, tanks, and planes need fuel. Energy warfare can make these useless by cutting off the fuel supply. It can also hurt regular people in a country. It can stop food from getting to cities or leave homes without heat. This can happen without any soldiers fighting or guns firing. It can be used to pressure governments and change politics in another country. This kind of warfare targets things like gas pipelines, oil facilities, or power grids. The attack on the undersea pipeline between Finland and Estonia is a clear example. It caused major problems and showed how weak energy links can be. This event happened without a traditional battle, showing the new ways that countries can be harmed in modern times. Energy is now a weapon. 2. What is energy war? What does energy war mean? It is a way of fighting without using soldiers in the old way. People and groups use energy to get what they want from other nations. This can happen in many ways. Think about these examples. In 2014, a group called ISIS took oil fields in Syria. They used the oil to get money and power. In 2022, Russia stopped sending gas to Europe. They wanted to pressure Europe because Europe helped Ukraine. Also, in 2010, Qatar used its money from gas to help win the chance to hold the FIFA World Cup. These are all different kinds of energy war. Why does energy become a weapon? There are three main reasons. First, the fuels we use, like oil and gas, are limited. There is only a certain amount on Earth. Second, all countries need these fuels to run cars, heat homes, and make electricity. Every nation needs them. Third, not all countries have these resources. Some have a lot, and some have none. This difference creates power. If one country, like Simonstan, has energy, and another country, Wisłaria, needs it, Simonstan can use this. Simonstan can make Wisłaria change its plans or follow certain rules. If Wisłaria does not agree, Simonstan might stop sending the energy. This shows how having energy gives a country control over others. NATO, a group of countries working together, talks about this. They say using energy to hurt or control other nations is part of a hybrid war. Hybrid war means using different methods, not just fighting with armies, to achieve goals. Oil is often called black gold. This name shows how valuable and powerful it is. It is not just a fuel. It is also a tool for power and control between nations. Oil and power. Oil is very important for many things we use every day. It is used to make fuels for cars and planes. It is also used to make plastics and other necessary products. Life for countries and people depends on oil. Because oil is so important, getting it or controlling it has caused many big problems between nations. These problems show how energy, especially oil, can be used to pressure or control other countries. One example is from World War II. Japan was taking control of areas in Asia. The United States stopped sending oil to Japan to try and make them stop. But this did not work as planned. Instead, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941. This event shows how serious countries can be when their oil supply is threatened. Another major event was the oil crisis in 1973. Some Arab nations stopped selling oil to countries that supported Israel during a war. The United States supported Israel, so these nations stopped oil exports to the U.S. This made the price of gas in the United States go up very, very high. This showed that even a very powerful country like the United States could be strongly affected by energy problems. Today, the United States is friends with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is one of the biggest oil producers in the world. The U.S. needs Saudi oil. This friendship helps the U.S., but it also gives Saudi Arabia a lot of influence over the United States. If Saudi Arabia decided to produce less oil, it could cause problems for the U.S. economy. There is also a group called OPEC. OPEC stands for the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. This group has many countries that export oil. Together, they control most of the world's oil supply. Because they control so much oil, they can make decisions that change the price of oil all over the world. This gives them a lot of power in international politics and economics. 4. When pushing fails. Sometimes using energy to control other countries does not work. This is called energy coercion, and it can fail. A big example happened during the war in Ukraine. Russia is a country with a lot of natural gas. Before the war, Russia sold much of this gas to Europe. When the war started, Russia stopped sending a lot of gas to Europe. President Putin likely hoped this would make Europe stop helping Ukraine. He might have thought Europe needed Russia's gas too much, especially for heating homes in winter. Cutting the gas was a way to push Europe. But Europe did not give up. The countries in Europe looked for gas from other places. They found new suppliers. One important new supplier was the United States. The U.S. has a way to get a lot of natural gas from a type of rock called shale. This shale gas helped the U.S. become a very big seller of natural gas to other countries. So, the U.S. could send gas to Europe to help replace the gas from Russia. It seems President Putin might have known that the U.S. was becoming a big gas seller and could help Europe. This makes Russia's choice to cut off gas seem like a big risk or a gamble. Russia tried to use its energy power, but it did not work the way they wanted. Europe faced some problems, like higher energy prices, but they did not stop supporting Ukraine. This shows that using energy to push other countries is not always successful. Countries also use their energy money in other ways. For example, Qatar has a lot of gas money. They used some of this money to help them host the FIFA World Cup football event. This is a way to make the country look good around the world. It is using energy wealth for soft power, not for direct war. This shows that sometimes using energy money is about general country politics, not just energy fighting. 5. Breaking energy lines. Attacks on important energy systems are happening more now. These systems are like the pipes that carry gas across countries or under the sea, or big places that make electricity. Breaking these can cause very big problems for countries. This is a new way of fighting. One example is what happened in October 2023. The gas pipe that goes under the sea between Finland and Estonia broke. This pipe, called the Baltic Connector, is very important for getting energy to both countries. It was not an accident. Someone broke it on purpose. People think a big ship's heavy anchor might have hit the pipe under the water. This anchor also hurt communication cables under the sea. Fixing pipes under the sea is very difficult and costs a lot of money. The repair for the Finland-Estonia pipe is expected to cost around $285 million. A small thing like an anchor caused massive damage to vital infrastructure. Other energy pipes in different places have been attacked too. In Germany, people tried to break a pipe for liquid gas early in 2024. This was an attempted sabotage that German authorities are investigating. In Iran, important energy pipes were targeted in February of 2024. In many of these attacks, it is very hard to know exactly who did it. The attackers are not easily found or identified. A very big example was the Nord Stream gas pipes in 2022. These were major pipes that carried natural gas from Russia to Germany under the sea. In September 2022, there were explosions near the pipes close to the coast of Sweden. The explosions were very powerful and broke the pipes, causing big gas leaks into the sea. People from different countries started investigations to find out who did this. Swedish investigators said it was likely a state actor, meaning a country, that planned and carried out the attack, not just a small group. Some news reports have said that maybe Ukraine was involved in placing the explosives or causing the explosions. But it is still not clear who exactly attacked the pipes. There is much uncertainty about who is truly responsible. This uncertainty is a big advantage for the attacker. If countries do not know who did the attack, it is hard to say who is responsible. It is hard to blame them, punish them, or stop them from doing it again. The attacker can cause serious damage to energy supply and infrastructure, like stopping the flow of gas for weeks or months and stay hidden. This way of fighting, where it is not clear who is attacking or how, is a part of how modern wars are fought. It is sometimes called hybrid warfare. A main part of this kind of war is that it is often not clear who is behind the attacks. Attacks on important energy pipes or systems where the attacker is unknown are a clear example of this. It shows how this new kind of fighting can hurt countries badly by attacking their energy sources, and nobody knows who to hold accountable for the damage. This makes it harder for countries to protect themselves and prevent future attacks. 6. Attacks in wars. Wars often mean fighting, and sometimes this fighting targets energy. Energy helps a country run and fight. So attacking energy is a way to hurt an enemy. In the conflict in Ukraine, Ukraine attacks Russia's oil places. These places, called refineries, make oil into fuel. Russia needs this fuel for its army, for tanks and planes. Russia also sells oil to get money for the war. By attacking the refineries, Ukraine tries to stop the fuel and the money. This has cost Russia a lot of money and made it harder for them to make fuel. Other countries have seen energy attacks too. Saudi Arabia has oil places. These places have been attacked. Sometimes Iran attacks them, and sometimes groups like the Houthi rebels from Yemen attack them. These attacks can stop a lot of oil from being sent to other countries, which changes oil prices around the world. History shows this too. In the first Gulf War, Saddam Hussein was the leader in Iraq. When his army left the country of Kuwait, they set fire to Kuwait's oil fields. This caused big fires and problems with oil. In another war, the Kosovo War, NATO forces attacked Serbia's power lines and fuel places. This made it hard for Serbia to keep its army working. Attacks on energy are not just with bombs or fire. They can also happen on computers. These are called cyber attacks. Russia has used cyber attacks against energy systems in Europe. In the US, a company called Colonial Pipeline had a cyber attack. This attack stopped the pipeline from working for a time and made it hard to get fuel in some places. A group called Dark Side did this attack using bad computer programs called ransomware. There was also a computer virus attack on Saudi Aramco, a big oil company in Saudi Arabia. This virus hurt many computers. Many people think Iran was behind this attack. Sometimes, even simple things can cause big problems for energy lines. A ship's anchor hurt a gas pipe under the sea. Drones, which are small flying robots, can attack oil places. These small attacks can cause a lot of damage to important energy pipes or power stations. It shows that energy is very important and also easy to hurt in wars. 7. Stopping energy attacks. Stopping energy attacks needs many different actions. It is not just one thing. You need different plans for different types of attacks. One way to stop countries from using energy to control others is to need less energy from them. This is called energy independence. If a country makes its own energy, other countries cannot easily use energy to make it do things. For example, Iran has a lot of oil and gas, so it is more energy independent and less hurt by other countries. But having energy independence from just one source is not enough. A country needs many kinds of energy sources. Different sources are used for different things. A country should have a mix of energy, like oil, gas, solar, wind, and hydropower from rivers. This mix makes it hard for anyone to stop all energy. If a country buys energy, it should buy from many different countries. So if one country stops selling, others can still supply energy. Saving energy in big storage places or batteries can also help for a short time. But this technology is still new and does not last forever. Nuclear power can make a lot of electricity cheaply. France uses many nuclear power plants and even sells electricity to other countries. This helped France a lot when gas from Russia was cut off. Other countries in Europe had bigger problems with energy prices rising. But nuclear power has big dangers, like serious accidents such as the one at Chernobyl in the past. Ukraine also uses nuclear power, but even with it, they have power cuts sometimes. Renewable energy like wind, solar, and hydro is available in almost all countries. It is harder to attack wind turbines or solar panels physically because they are often many and spread out. Also, you cannot stop the wind or the sun. However, these renewable systems often use computers and networks, so they can be targets for cyber attacks. To stop physical attacks on energy places, a country should not put all its energy infrastructure in one place. It is safer to have many small pipelines instead of one very large one. If one small pipeline is broken, the country still gets energy from the others. Attacking one large pipeline might stop all energy flow. It costs more money to build many small pipelines or spread out solar farms, but it is safer. Some energy places cannot be spread out, like a big nuclear power plant. These very important places need strong defense. This includes using defense systems to shoot down missiles or drones and having security guards. These defense systems are expensive. When a country uses money and military systems to protect energy sites, it has fewer systems to protect cities or other important targets. So, protecting energy infrastructure is necessary but costly. These actions help countries protect themselves against different energy attacks. 8. The future of energy fights. Let us think about what comes next for energy fights. It is hard to know exactly what will happen in the future. Today, the world still uses a lot of fossil fuels, like oil and gas. These fuels are very important for how countries work. But things are slowly changing. People and countries are starting to use more renewable energy sources. This means energy from the sun, wind, and water. These energy sources are getting better and they cost less money now. More countries are starting to use them. When more countries use energy from the sun and wind, they can often make more of their energy inside their own country. This means they do not need to buy so much energy from other nations. If a country can produce most of its own energy, other countries will have less power over it through energy supply. This could change how some energy fights happen. It might mean that using energy supply to force another country to do something becomes less common. However, fighting about and with energy will still be a big part of how countries interact and conflict. Energy will continue to be an important way to influence others or cause problems. This can happen without starting a big war with many soldiers and tanks. We will still see new kinds of attacks on energy systems. These attacks might be small or unexpected. They are sometimes called asymmetric warfare, but they can still cause big damage and harm energy security. It is very important for nations to see and understand these new dangers. In our world now, a strong attack on a country's energy can hurt it very quickly. It can cause major problems for everyday life and the economy. This shows how powerful energy has become as a target in conflicts. Countries must learn to adapt and find better ways to protect all their energy systems, both old and new. If nations do not prepare and protect themselves well against these future energy fights, they could face very serious problems. The move to new green energy sources might change some things about these energy fights, but the main idea of energy as a tool in conflict will likely stay. Nations need to find the right path to deal with this future challenge.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.